people behind me are going insane. I'm an asshole.
Hello, YouTuber. I just watched a video done by the Big Fat Witch, HoneyRaven, and I have to agree with everything she said mostly. I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about my whole take on what's going on in the community. I see a lot of going back and forth between, this group and this group, or this individual and that individual. I don't want to do labels because it's not us against them, it's not them against us. It's individuals and groups against each other, just like in any other part of society. When you got humans involved, it's like the sun says to the earth, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's no hope for you. You have humans." Humans are, as a species, just like any other species or any other being for that matter, we're not perfect. And nor should we pretend to be so. It's when you start being arrogant and thinking that you're better than most or better than all, that holier than thou attitude, is when you start to lose some credibility and things like that. This could happen to anybody or anything. You should know yourself a little bit more and understand when you're starting to become that which is the arrogant part of the being, and whether you're being humble. And I'm not talking like we need to be on our knees groveling, "I'm not worthy." I am saying, know that you are human and you are flawed, and that's okay. But when you start thinking you're better than everybody, then you're out. Then you have the problem. People confuse pride and arrogance, which are two different things. Arrogance is when you walking around like, "My shit do not stink, and I'm the best thing since Wonder Bread." Now, when I say things like that, like, "Oh man, yeah, I'm tooting my own horn," it sounds really funny because people who know me know I don't really mean it. I'm just saying it to be funny. Because I know that this ain't true. I ain't the best thing since Wonder Bread. But I know I'm not a piece of crap either. I can do some crappy things, but I'm not myself a piece of crap. It's okay to have pride in oneself. Have pride in your accomplishments. It's when you start thinking, "My accomplishment is better than your accomplishment. My life is better than your life. I make more money than you do. I have more food than you do. I'm getting more help than you are." It's when we start to have the problem. Now, I don't always like to come out and make a video, but when I've seen it start to boil over, then I like to just come on and say my piece about it. Because I've seen posts from good friends, and everything, and I've seen it coming from both ends. I'm going to use like the example, witches versus Wiccans, and there is a difference. There is. A witch doesn't necessarily have to even have a religion, whereas Wiccans have chosen the religion of Wicca, which incorporates witchcraft as their religion, their belief system. Whereas witches, there can be Christian witches, and hey, if you found a way to get, work that into your everyday life with Christian witchcraft, that's a good thing. I like it. Because I also know that the original, well, not the original, but when it was first translated into English, it was poisoner, not witch. It was King James's paranoia of witches which changed it from poisoner to witch. But I digress. There are witches coming at Wiccans, or Wiccans coming at witches saying, well, if you do this, then you're not a real witch. If you do that, then you're not a witch. You have to be Wiccan to be a witch, and this is just not the case. Just like not all Wiccans are pagans, and not all pagans are Wiccans. Same goes for not all Wiccans are witches. Not all witches are Wiccan. The word has been used interchangeably, which is understandable. Words, I like to quote Shakespeare, "Rose by any other name. It is what it is." So, where am I going with this? I have no idea. But we'll get somewhere today. I do have some points. There's like the old argument, if you're making money on it, then you're not a real witch. I think, that's a fallacy. I mean, we have to be able to figure out how to scrape by and make an existence, and if you found a way to do that without necessarily ruining your integrity as a human being, period, and it's, something that makes you happy, you feel good about yourself, as long as you're not hurting anybody, and then we have free will as humans. That should always be known. Everybody says don't mess with somebody else's free will. Well, you trying to get them to believe the way you do, and telling them they're wrong for it, that's encroaching on their free will. Like I've watched, people who are in the Wiccan community come at witches who don't necessarily follow the read, trying to tell them that this is gospel, basically, that, the karmatic law is going to come back and it'll be 3 times this and that, and there are consequences for every action, yes, but maybe not in the way you're thinking. It's not up to us to say, you're gonna fuck up. That's not my place to say, and that's probably not your place to say either. I like to quote the Bible on this one. I can't quote it exactly, but that passage about the piece of wood in the eye, and don't worry about the piece of wood in your neighbor's eye when you have a friggin' log sticking out of your eye. I think that's sound advice. Maybe I have a log sticking out of my eye, and I happen to notice the log in the splinter in yours, and I'm telling you to take it out, and you're looking at me like, you got a log in your eye, but you're not saying anything. But humans are beautiful creatures in their flawed ways. But it can be, very disturbing at times. The complexity of the human being, we're not simple creatures. We got very complex. And we're never going to be perfect. I think if we were perfect, it wouldn't be perfect, is what I'm saying. I mean, you could bake a cake to perfection, but then if you keep getting perfect cakes, is it perfect anymore? Or is this the same thing over and over again? Perfection can get wearing. So, I'm not coming at this from a witch standpoint. I'm not coming at this from a Wiccan standpoint, because I'm not Wiccan. I may be a witch. But I'm not coming at it from that standpoint. I'm coming at it from a human being to my fellow human beings. Because it's not just in the pagan, Wiccan, witchy, magic community. It's everywhere that human beings tread. You got other Christians coming at other Christians for the differences in their beliefs, and they're not doing what we do, so they must be wrong. I can't say this is entirely... One second. I can't say this is entirely our fault. It's just the nature of the beast. You know, but we should be able to realize if we're doing what people expect in the community, I guess. They come in expecting people who aren't assholes, basically. I think that's a good term. They expect us to be a little bit more accepting, a little bit more open, a little bit more kind, loving, and all of that, you know. And we should try at least to be accepting, open, and understand where other people are coming from. You know? Nobody's perfect, okay? I didn't come into the community expecting there to be, you know, everywhere I go, that I would meet a witch that was the witchy of the witchies. I didn't. Because I knew. Oh, thank you. Thank you, baby, for the spit up. Anyway. I was wondering what that coldness was. You spit up on mummies. Silly little girl. I'm not exactly sure how exactly I came into the community. I just always knew what I was supposed to be, and I had to find out exactly what it meant to be, what it is to be me. I think that's with anybody, any individual, whether you be a witch, a nun, you know, whichever. Or whether you're a college professor, you know, you have to find who you are and what it means to be you to you. My definition of being a witch may not match anybody else's in the community, for that matter. In fact, I've learned that I'm quite an odd duck. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It makes it harder to practice in some groups. So I have, as much as I would like to be in a group where there are, you know, uniformity, it's not easy for me to practice with others because of my individuality. But, you know, this is a common problem for most because it's like herding cats. Let go of Mama's hair. Let go. Let go. You had no hair for Mommy to pull. It's no fair. No, you did this to you. You did this to you. Yep. So, yeah, as much as I'd like to be in a nice uniform coven, I don't know most covens who are uniform. I haven't been able to find two uniform of covens that, you know. So I'm okay with the people I'm I associate with, and I see many differences, and I see many things that are alike, but no two Christians are alike, no two Wiccans are alike, no two witches are alike, no two Baptists are alike, no two humans are alike, in fact, no two snowflakes are alike. But if you can come together on some kind of level with some people, so you can get together and have a good time and do what you do, then you're good. I've always had a hard time finding a peer group that's just me. So, I do what I do in my own home. And whatever you do in your home, you do. And I may not like or may not even understand the way you do some things, but I also know that I do some off the wall things that not everybody understands. So I had to look at that and say, they do what they do and I do what I do, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure it's necessarily a thing about growing up, because there was a lot of adults that, do childish things that are like the fun childish things, and then there are, adults that got their adultness together, but when it comes to nurturing their inner child, they suck at it. I guess. It's about finding balance in that, I guess. I noticed when I was a kid, everybody, even my kids my own age, were always telling me to grow up. And I said, oh, so I can be an asshole like you? Basically, that's what I meant. I don't think I actually used the term asshole, but that's what they were being. I said, I'd rather be childish and treat people with respect and accept them for who they are, and not be. And if that's what being adult is not, then I don't want to be an adult. If that's what maturity brings you, this asshole-ness about you, then I don't want it. I always said that. If you don't want someone coming in to your personal space, and you do have a personal space, even in public, you do have personal space, saying, telling you how to live, then don't do it to somebody else. If you wouldn't want someone coming to you saying, well, you're not this because you don't do this, this, and this, then don't do it to somebody else. That's just how it is. I try not to be too politically correct. I try not to mince too many words. But I do have to try to approach some things with a little bit of sensitivity. Because if I wasn't coming at this with some sort of sensitivity, I would have just been naming names and been really specific. So I don't want to do that, because it's not how you deal with it. Because we're all at fault. You might not feel that way, but we are all kind of at fault. And it's not our fault that we're at fault, if that makes any sense. We all make mistakes. We all bungle up sometimes, and we need to probably pull somebody aside and be like, maybe you should be a little nicer. Maybe you shouldn't be talking about this person in that way, and be an adult about it. Because to me, an actual adult handles things the best they can, the most respectful way they can, and tries not to be a dick. Right? We try not to be a dick. You got Mommy's hair in your hand. Give Mommy her hair. You me? That stuff's dangerous for you. You get wrapped around your little finger and got all circulation. Anyway, not going to ask anybody to grow up. I'm not going to ask anybody to change their ways. You can't get somebody to change their ways, you know, unless they want to. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm just here to speak. Me talking on the YouTube is not going to change anybody's way of doing something. Is this effort in vain? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's effort to coming on and trying to make a difference is in vain. At least someone is speaking, and you know, there are those that still remain silent. Sometimes silence is good, but sometimes silence can hurt. It's all shades of gray. Nothing is black and white. Try to remember that. In all things, nothing is black and white. It's all shades of gray and colors of the rainbow. But this one's getting fussy. So, I'm going to end the video. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? Look at the computer. Look at the... Look. Okay, baby. Okay, we'll end the video.
I'm an asshole, and I'm proud of it.